So you can take risks. So you feel comfortable in doing that. So you can actually experience the essence and the adventure of life.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Chris Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
Thank you for joining me, Health in the Real World podcast. I'm Chris Janke. I'm joined today with Claire Johnson. Claire, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you are a female empowerment coach and a personal trainer. And it sounds like you do a lot of other things as well, in addition to just the fitness aspect. Can you give us a little background as far as how you got into this and what you do?
Sure. So yeah, I'm a female empowerment mindset training and nutrition coach. I've been in the health and fitness industry for, must be like 20 years now. Started off as a gym instructor, moved into personal training. From there, went into health club management, both in the corporate and commercial sectors. And from there, I moved over to Australia. And when I was in Australia, I was with Australia and New Zealand's largest personal training franchise studio system, and with that I was product development, I was franchise manager, and I set up an online client site, did some training for their trainers coming through. So I've worked in all areas within the fitness industry, both client facing, business facing, and then also from the fitness tech space as well. So I've always had a passion for group exercise and for helping women in particular get a result so they feel better about themselves and feel confident about themselves. And what I saw over many years was women would get a result, but they could get a better result if we had a look at their mindset first. So I started working with them to assess their readiness levels for change, to see how open they were to wanting the change, and get them really connected to why the change that they wanted to get was important to them, so then they could achieve a result easier, and a better and bigger result, if you like. So from there, it really opened my eyes up into health coaching, wellness coaching, and the mindset side of things. So I started to focus on that more, and then saw it seep into the other areas of their life. And when you see someone, they've achieved a result, and then the ripple effect it has, when they want to go and get that promotion, or they feel confident to go and quit their job or leave their partner, because it's like, yes, now they're inspired, they're connected to themselves, got me really fired up. So from there, I moved into predominantly leading with the mindset side of things, then incorporating all of my nutrition background and the fitness training to bring that holistic approach. So, we can work on all those three areas and get a real, true, wholesome result, if you like. So included within that, it's one-to-one personal training, fitness programs, group exercise classes I still teach as well, but I do online coaching programs and also the one-to-one coaching programs. And I've also written a couple of books and have a fitness app and different things like that. So yeah, have a lot of stuff going on.
That's awesome. So you decided a couple of years ago that you would predominantly focus on women. What are some of the questions you asked to get into that mindset? You're talking about how the readiness of somebody to change. How do you determine how ready somebody is? Like, what are some of those questions?
It would be assessing, like what's important to them, first of all, finding out their why, but they're really deep level why. So, rather than, someone might have a goal, say potentially, I want to lose a stone or a kilo or 5 kilos, what have you, trying to work out the metric to imperial, or a dress size, okay, so fine, that's a goal. Why do you want to do that? Because I want to look good, or I want to, I'm going to this event, I want to feel like I look good to go to it. Okay, so why is that important? So we dig down deeper to get them really connected to what it is that's really driving them to want to achieve this goal. It doesn't have to be aesthetic, it could be fitness related, or like I said, other areas of their life as well. So once we've identified what that real reason is for wanting to get that goal, is that we have a look at what the roadmap is to then get there. So it would be, okay, so you want to achieve this goal, say in 12 weeks, what's happening between now and then that we need to create strategies around to make sure that you're on track to achieve your goal? Are you prepared to potentially not do this social function and then do this instead? Are you prepared to clear out the cupboards, spend time meal prepping, get uncomfortable and get out of your comfort zone? And just, asking those questions and really having an honest conversation about what it takes to achieve their goal, and identifying, how ready they are to do that, and also identifying who around them is going to help support their goals as well, because it's very difficult sometimes to be able to move forward if there's people close to you, like a partner or family or even work colleagues, and they potentially might not be supportive of the goal, and it could be detrimental to you getting there. So it's identifying all of those and then creating strategies so that if those situations did arise, then you can be confident that you're going to be successful and know how to cope with them. Because half the problem is sometimes that things come at you, sideswipe you left field, and then you're like, oh my god, I don't know how to deal with it. So we spend that time to think about all the what ifs, so we put a solid plan into place and then always have a plan B.
Nice. So that I'm really curious about that plan B, about if something sideswipes you from left field, what's that conversation look like? Let's say 6 months down the line, they're doing great, but then all of a sudden, I don't know, they fall off the wagon, something hits them from left field. What is that conversation?
Okay, so say for instance someone's been training, they're really close to their goal, and it might be that they've got a big family function coming up, so they're already aware of what that event's going to be. So it's like, okay, so you've got this event going on, you're going to be seeing these people, potentially there's going to be food, alcohol that might not be congruent with your fitness goals, or you might be with people who are not of the same mindset of you, so there's then those behaviors come back of limiting self-beliefs and things like that. So it's creating awareness around what that obstacle is and what could arise from it, and then from there having a look at so say for instance it's a weekend event, what could you do in the week leading up to it and the week after it to manage calorie intake, exercise programs, so you can get everything done in terms of health and fitness side of things. And then in terms of the mindset, what else is it that we can do to strengthen your self-confidence, your positivity, and then identifying those areas from there and focusing on those. So it's like you kind of going into the event with armor on it, if you like, to make sure that you're still on track with your goals.
Nice. Sounds like you have a really holistic approach to not only health and fitness, but also it's the kind of those underlying things that determine whether you're going to be healthy and fit. You can almost have a conversation with somebody and you get a really good idea of how likely they are to succeed, right? Based on that. I remember one example that comes to me is I was interviewing this new client, and she was lean, like she looked fit, she looked healthy, but there was something that didn't quite fit. And I couldn't really put my finger on it. It turns out 30 minutes into the conversation, she tells me that she had just got liposuction.
Right.
So she, like 2 weeks prior to that, she was almost 200 pounds heavier than she was that day. What I noticed, and I think what didn't really jive and something was a little bit off, was that she was still an overweight person in her head. So that's why I was like, God, she just is not talking like a healthy and fit person. And that was the reason why. So it's really good that you're taking these steps to fix that foundation and do all that work up front, because then that automatically kind of leads to the next step, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've worked with a lot of women in the past, and they've had big transformations physically, and you're absolutely right, it takes a while for the mindset to change, to go with what their new body is, and to feel the value and appreciation and belief in their ability. I've worked with people before who because they've been quite overweight for a long period of time, personality is different, so they're quite shy. So seeing the change and then coaching them through to be able to help change their mindset so they feel confident and empowered and inspired to, like you said, talk like the person who they look like and believe in their ability. It does take time, and it's a lot of reassurance, it's a lot of positive self-talk and input, and then surrounding yourself with the positive the positive people that are going to help support that new person, and not be that social circle that's going to pull you back to where you don't want to be. So I really believe in that holistic approach, because then you're going to get long-lasting, sustainable results. And I don't really like the quick fixes, because they're they don't last. They do damage long term from that mental perspective, in, you know, being
Right.
deprived and restricted, and you know, you're going to rebound because you've been restricted for so long. So if it can be sustainable, if it can be holistic, and if it's manageable, so it can be integrated into a new healthier lifestyle, then that's what I'm all about.
Nice. Yeah. You know, Claire, one of the things that I think is really valuable, especially when we're working with people who are maybe not healthy or fit, and then they see you or me as a trainer, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, it's easy for you, right? But I think sometimes it's good to humanize ourselves a little bit. So for you personally, what is one of the areas in your health and fitness that you maybe struggle with, or maybe in the past you struggled with, and what kind of strategies are you using to get by that?
Sure. So I guess, I mean, people do look at me and they say, oh, it's easy for you, you're health and fit and you're small. But you know, when I was younger, growing up at school, I hated like PE, what we call it here, and being physical. And it took me a while to get into fitness, and then that's when I found my love and passion for it in my early 20s. You know, I used to compete as well when I lived in Australia, so I was a female figure, not bodybuilder, but female figure competitor. And I guess that taught me a lot about where the mindset goes. You know, that daily obsession with the scales. Am I making weight? Have I done enough to get lean and get cut? So I understand that's the talk that comes with, you know, having that obsession with the scales and trying to overcome feeling, you know, or having more self-worth and value than a number on the scales. You know, the amount of times that I'd step on the scales and think, okay, cool, I know I've been on track this week, and then they wouldn't change, or they didn't give me the result that I wanted, and it would just screw with your head. But you knew that you'd done everything, and you knew that you were looking better. So, you know, your whole mood and perspective would change when you stepped on the scale. So, you know, I've been through that process, and I share that a lot with women that I work with to try and move them away from the scales and use other forms of measurement. I'm also a mum, and when I was pregnant, I got massive. I put on an extra 20 kilos. So, you know, my stage weight when I competed, I think was 56 kilos. And then at the end of my pregnancy, it was 86 kilos. So there's been a whole 30 kilogram, you know, big weight shift. So I know what it's like to put on weight and feel uncomfortable and not have the body that you want, and then lose it and get back to a body that you're happy with as well. So I've kind of had those two ends of the spectrum. And I just share my process and the journey with the ladies that I work with, so they understand that, you know, yeah, I am a real person. I have been there and done that. And it wasn't easy, you know, and it wasn't quick. I did it in a slow, sustainable way. But, you know, the result came.
Right. Slow and sustainable, which means it's going to last. And yeah, absolutely. I think that's great. It's not just the book knowledge. It's like you've been super disciplined, checking the scale every day. You've also been overweight. By the way, you said 30 kilos. Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's about 60 to 70 pounds, right? So just for the Americans watching. Okay, Claire, I want to give you a chance to give a motivational speech. So let's say a corporation or a university hires you to give a motivational speech. So let's say it's 1 to 2 minutes. We can go big picture on this. It doesn't have to be just health and fitness. This can be life principles, go big. You know, what do you believe, and how can you impart some of your wisdom to these people who are listening to your motivational speech?
Wow. Okay. God, put me on the spot here. Do you know, the biggest thing that I'm incredibly passionate about is, you know, it's one of my taglines. I'm on a mission to help women be bold and brave and unafraid and take back control. And what that means is to be able to step into your power and really own your life and be confident in what it is that you want to do. You know, being bold and brave, so you can take risks, so you feel comfortable in doing that, so you can actually experience the essence and the adventure of life. You know, people often talk to me about why I call my brand the Naked Warrior, and you know, it's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because you're naked because you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable whilst also having that warrior, brave woman within. So it's being vulnerable but being strong. It's allowing yourself to be you, because, you know, at the end of the day, we only get one life here. So it's all about living connected to what fires you up. And in one of my signature programs, you know, we spend a whole week getting connected to your passion so you can live an inspired life. So, you know, you wake up happy every day. I'm a true believer in, you know, putting good fuel into your body so you can maximize your your life output, and so not to live restricted. We should be waking up being vibrant, energetic beings, and to be able to do this, we need to move right, we need to eat right, and we need to surround ourselves with the right people who are supporting our goals to where we're going to, and have the right positive influences to remove all negativity and just support those around you as well. So I get incredibly passionate about it, and creating this ripple effect to help women get away from the funk and the junk that's holding them back, so they are inspired every day.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's great. That was a great motivational speech. So Claire, how can people get a hold of you? What's your website, and how do people get you on social media?
Sure. So just go search The Naked Warrior and you'll find me. My website is thenakedwarrior.co.uk. I'm on Facebook as The Naked Warrior, and on Instagram it's _ The Naked Warrior. Yeah, so just go find Naked Warrior and you'll find me. But feel free to reach out to me anytime, drop me questions. I'm really here to help inspire and empower, and I just want to see more women living the best life that they possibly can and true to their essence of themselves.
That's awesome. There you have it. So thank you, Claire Johnson, The Naked Warrior, female empowerment coach and personal trainer. Claire, thank you so much for joining me today on Health in the Real World. Really appreciate it.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.